growing organically is like being authentic and having that conversation with your audience. Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips. Growing organically is kind of our thing. We love to help new business owners and just even businesses that have been in, even for multiple years, I feel like, just discover ways to grow organically, because after all, that's how we've grown our business from day one. We take a lot of passion in not needing to pay for ads in order to create a consistent income and consistent growth for your business. And the key word there is consistent. With like the consistent growth that you put in, you tend to see some consistent returns. So we've collected our 5 favorite ways to grow organically for your business. And that means by not paying for ads and not paying for any paid advertising and marketing, there are a bunch of ways that you can grow organically. And these are our favorites.
Yes. So the first one should come as no surprise to people that currently follow us, but it is the gram. It is probably my favorite way of growing organically through just everything that we post on there and what we do. So again, going back to that consistency, Abby and I think since day one have had a goal of trying to post at least once every day. We've definitely, slipped a few times here or there, but it hasn't hurt us in any means. But having that consistency and constantly posting on the gram has helped us to grow to where we are today. I would say the gram is probably one of the bigger places where we first started to grow organically. So making sure that we're posting content that is relevant and educational for our audience and for what we offer as far as our services go. So SEO, branding, and social media content and creative is kind of what we focus on. So making sure that we're constantly posting around those buckets and how we can provide education or what we can offer our clients. We're always just wanting to spew out all the knowledge of everything that we know, and we know that that's what our audience craves. So that's one of the bigger ones is the gram, and it's fun. It's a fun place to grow organically because you can be a little fun with it, a little bit out of the box with it, and yeah, it works.
Yeah, we love it. I think it's one of the first places that we went because we were so passionate and excited for it. I mean, it kind of spoke to both of us where Court can design this like beautiful feed from her creative design brain, and I can play around with the strategy and the copy and speak to our audience. And so it's been a really fun platform for us to collaborate on. And social media is meant to be social. So it's definitely one of those areas that we've loved. And when we say like posting every day is definitely not something that we recommend. No. Like if that doesn't work for you, that doesn't work for you. But we don't disappear for a month and then pop back up. Like we show up weekly and we're there. So our audience knows that they can depend on us. And that's where the consistent long-term growth comes in.
Yes.
So our second favorite way to grow organically is blogging. So obviously, as the SEO nerds that we are, we absolutely love to create longer form content for our audience that can just share tips and tricks. It really shares the basics of what we know and helps not only educate our audience, but also show them what we know so that they can trust in us when they come to us for their services. So we've had a goal of 1 blog per week. Again, this is a goal that we don't always hit, and that's okay. Like life happens, business gets busy. We have to prioritize our clients occasionally over our own business, and that's okay. And just because we didn't post a blog we only posted 2 blogs 1 month, or sometimes we only posted 1 blog 1 month. We didn't completely forget about the platform. We didn't just say this is too hard and we're moving on. We stuck with it, and we continued to see growth in that area. And this is one of the areas where it truly begins to pay off months down the road. So it can feel really hard at the beginning to blog consistently and wonder if anyone's even seen your content. And like, I'm writing and spending all this time doing this and putting it out there, and it feels like nothing is happening. And the magic really happens later, and it happens down the road. We have 2 blog posts that performed super well for us that we wrote. One was in March of last year, and I think the other one was over the summer. And one is how to batch your Instagram Reels, which is one of our favorite things to do. And another one is how to create a fancy Gmail signature in Canva. And both of those drive the most traffic to our website. And we created them over a year ago, or about a year ago. So it's just crazy to see the content really take off when you're writing content that people are searching for. So the consistency and just the waiting for it to pay off is key.
Yeah, so then our third one for our favorite ways to grow organically are website leads. And that seems kind of obvious, but if you don't have that well-optimized website, then you're obviously not going to bring in any leads. So this is, again, our SEO hats here big time as far as, keywords, meta description, alt text, all of that fun stuff that goes into SEO and building out your website. Obviously, I am not the SEO genius of the two of us, but I can speak to it a little bit, and I do know that it's a huge part of your website and building that out. There's no reason in having a beautiful website if you don't have that back-end SEO work helping you out, because it's going to be sitting there beautiful with nobody viewing it. So a big part is really having that website optimized so that people can find you and reach out to you via your website. And then just making sure that your website flows nicely. It's got a lot of content, a lot of copy. I think that's another thing that we talk about a lot, is making sure each web page has enough copy and content on it to be well optimized for SEO. That can be tricky sometimes, especially when we're talking about like our contact pages. We kind of run into that a lot of like, how do I add more copy to my contact page? But there's definitely ways to do that. And it all comes down to like also the graphics that you use on your site. If you're using too heavy of graphics or photos or videos, that's also going to bog down your site. So just being really conscious about that. But we started with a 1-page website for I don't even know how long we had that baby up. But we knew pretty quickly, like, this is not going to be a well optimized site because we need more pages, especially for the content that we have. So now we have our brand new beautiful site up and well optimized and multiple pages. And we've been bringing in leads on there. And not to say we didn't bring any on our 1 page, we did.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think we've seen an uptick for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think the more content you have, obviously, the more you're going to index and rank for things. And we'll probably have tons of episodes coming up where we'll talk about all of the details of how to make sure your website is optimized. And we also have tons of content on our blog already about that too. Mm-hmm. But it's also just, if you have a website out there and you're not getting website leads, that should be just a clear indicator that like your website isn't well optimized, because if you have a website out there, you should be getting website leads. So having a well optimized website is definitely should in and of itself be a way to grow organically. So our fourth favorite way to grow organically is Facebook groups. We're actually not talking about owning our own, although it is like a passion of ours and something we definitely want to do one day.
Another goal.
Yep, it's one of our goals. We just know, how much time we have in a day, and it doesn't include that. Like, we wouldn't do a very good job of dedicating that much time to our audience like we'd want to. But what we're talking about here is actually engaging. And this goes true for Instagram too, is like engage and participate with your audience. Be there in the trenches with them. Don't just be teaching, but also be learning and be actively commenting and engaging on posts. So we love to engage on some of our favorite Facebook groups, Women in Marketing, Rising Tide Society, the Show It user group, because we have that a Show It website. There is Society Gal. There's so many. The Social Bungalow, I think, is another one.
Yep.
There's so many. We have so many Facebook groups that we just love to be in and participate in. And one of the best ways to grow is actually to kind of drum up your own business in that space. You can share your work. You can ask for feedback. You can ask other questions. Like if you're struggling with something, ask a question, or ask, maybe a lot of your audience could live on some of these Facebook groups, and maybe you should just do some market research, take some surveys, ask questions. All of that kind of stuff can really help you network with people amongst Facebook groups. These are people that are taking action. So this can be a really awesome spot to not only just like increase brand awareness for you, but also grow your business and bring in new leads.
Yes, and that brings us to our fifth one, and that is email newsletter. So this is something that we actually launched just this year, so it's pretty fresh for us, but we have a Tuesday Tips and Sips email newsletter if you haven't already signed up. But this is just another way to really create that consistent, valuable content that we're sharing with our audience. And it could be another way that we're reaching somebody that might not be on Instagram, or that we might not be bringing in other ways organically. So it's a nice way to give that content in a different format. And the nice thing about the Tuesday Tips and Sips is that our email newsletter group that has signed up for it know that it's a consistent thing, that they're going to consistently get an email from us on Tuesdays. It's going to have a big chunk of content in it. We usually focus on one of the above: SEO, social media, or branding, and kind of just focus that whole email on that. And then we give you like little tips and stuff like that throughout the email tips and sips. We give you some cocktail recipe ideas and what we're sipping on for that week. But yeah, this has also been a really strong lead to bring in organic growth. And we also do so from the website. People can sign up for our freebies, so you can get signed up into different email sequences that we have. So it's not just the tips and sips, but yeah, if you were to sign up for our marketing freebie, you would get put into that, and then you would start to slowly see our other emails that aren't necessarily that newsletter.
Mm-hmm. The amount of leads that we've gotten through our welcome sequence, which shout out to BTL Copy for helping us write together and put together that welcome sequence, is awesome. I mean, it's so fun to see people come through our sequence of like, hello, here's your freebie, here's a little bit about us and who we are, and then there's another email that talks about our services and our offerings. And the amount of times someone has came in through our email sequence and like, oh, hey, that service offering sounds amazing, can you tell me more about it? Mm-hmm. It just really, it organically opens up a conversation. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of growing organically, is like being authentic and just having that conversation with your audience.
Mm-hmm. And I think providing that content too, like I think a lot of people are scared to share the knowledge that they have, because they're like, well, if we share it, then, you know, how am I ever going to get a client if I'm sharing all of like our tips and tricks? But that's not the case. I think a lot of people that have started to follow us and how we've grown is by sharing so much valuable content, but we're still getting clients because, you know, we're sharing everything that we know, but at the end of the day, they want us to work on something for them because we're the experts in that field, and they want to help or have us help them take it to that whole other level. So don't be afraid to share your knowledge and just kind of give free content, because then you start to build that authenticity and that trust, and that's where people are going to start wanting to follow you even more.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have some people amongst your audience who are DIYers and like who want to steal your tips and tricks and use them on themselves, and that is going to happen regardless of what you are in. However, the majority of people just want to know that you know what you're doing, that you are the expert. So they're not looking to steal your tips and tricks. They're just looking to know what you know. And then they don't have the time to take on your expertise, so they're going to invest in you to do that. So that's always like scary, is how do I organically be consistent at all of this stuff? And it's by sharing your knowledge and sharing the tips and sips, tips and sips, tips and tricks, all of that fun stuff with your audience. So there are tons of ways to grow organically. These are not like just the 5 exclusive things you have to or must do. These are the 5 that we love because they bring us joy. So that's like a huge piece of it, is find the things that organically you love and bring you joy, because it's much, much easier to be consistent at something when you love it. If it's super hard to be consistent, chances are you don't love it or you don't have a good process or a system in place. So we have for 2022, obviously we're always looking for new ways to grow organically, because that's kind of, again, our thing. But we have a few things that we are super excited about. One of them being video and YouTube. Hopefully that's going to be an area that we expand in this year. Reels definitely falls into that video chunk, which we're super excited about. And growing our email list is another huge piece of that. We want to continue to grow that platform and engage with people in deeper sequences and in more ways, and just share our knowledge through there.
And the last one is TikTok. This is a very new and recent thing for us, but we're definitely testing it out. We know that it's a platform that is out there and that's really highly popular, and another video platform. So we're getting into the reels, and we decided we'd dive into the world of TikTok. So you can see more of us on TikTok this year, and hopefully that'll bring us some more organic growth as well.
If we love reels, you'd think it translates.
Yep.
And then obviously this podcast too is an organic way to grow. We wanted to come at you with something a little bit more authentic. That's not like a very SEO keyword written blog post, but instead is just us sharing our knowledge with you in a very organic way that hopefully starts the conversation. So we always want to leave this kind of open for you guys too, to share what you want to hear about, and we can have some of those conversations, hopefully bring on guests and all of that fun stuff. So hopefully this inspired you to find some ways, or to think about how you're going to organically grow your business. I think it's so easy to think that marketing has to be paid, and it doesn't. There are so many ways you can grow, drum up new business, bring in new clients, sell more products, just by focusing on consistent organic efforts.
If you like this episode, be sure to share it with a friend or tag us on Instagram, Duo On Air Podcast. We are also hosting a little giveaway each week.
Go to wherever you listen to your podcast and write us a review. For each review, we'll be entering you into a drawing for a chance to win a curated box of the duo's favorite things.
And if you know us, we love coffee, small businesses, and we're definitely not above graphic tees. So go ahead, head out right now and write us a review. See you next time, friends.